Now with that alternator removed, we've just opened up a whole lot of extra room just to be able to get in here. The next thing I want to do is these bolts on the heat shield for the exhaust. So I'm going to soak them up a little bit first because they're rusty and they're going to be as tight as. Not so worried about the ones on the top as I am the ones that are down here. So we'll get the easy ones first. They're a 10mm bolt. Oh, that was easier than expected. A 10mm bolt like that, they typically get a bit rusty because of the heat. Again, this one's coming out fairly easy. I would suggest with these sorts of bolts that you use a 6-point socket rather than a multi-fit one, just so that you don't round these off. Now the ones I'm going for here is that top bolt there. The bottom one is the second half of the heat shield, which I don't need to remove, so it's just the top ones that I'm trying to get to. And again, a 6-point socket's going to be your best bet on these ones. Hopefully they're like the top and they're not too bad. Now I haven't tried yet, but you might be able to access these easier from the bottom, but at the moment I'm doing it right from the top. Looks like I'm pretty lucky here, this is coming off. Now if you had problems getting these off, I would just literally grind them off and fix that problem up later. Again, fairly rusty, but the actual thread of it's not too bad, it's just rusty on the head. And this other one just tucks in, just in there. And again, I've been pretty lucky, and these are running out fairly easily for me. Hopefully the mechanical gods are looking after you, and the same happens for you. It's number 4 out. Now we should be able to pull this heat shield up and out of the way. Let's just get this O2 wiring out of the way first. Comes over here, we better unplug it. And with that plug loose, we can pull the heat shield up. It's going to catch on everything, but that's what we expect. Get it up and out of the way. With that heat shield gone, I'm now going to focus on these few bolts for the manifold, but I'm going to give them a bit of a soaking first, just so I've got a better luck of getting them out. Okay, so it's a 14mm. I'm using a long, deep socket. I'm going to try and get this ugly one in here first, because it looks like it's going to be the worst. Just fit a small little extension on there. See how we go. So they're tight, but they rotate it pretty easily. I'm just going to go through and see if I can loosen them all first. And I'm using a breaker bar, they are pretty tight. Now that it's loosened, I'm just going to use the air ratchet just to zip it off fast. Now with those bolts here, I'm hoping I can get enough movement. It looks like I can. So I can just sit that back here and that head can be free. I'll take this gasket off while I'm here so it doesn't get in the way. We throw it away anyway. But good to see here that there's no exhaust leaking here, which probably is a good indication that this surface here is still flat and true, which is a bonus. And now before I go much further, I'm just going to undo the bolts here to this thermostat. Now, look, they've got a funny setup. They've got two thermostats in them with different operating temperatures. Hey, do your own research what you want to do there, whether you're going to put them back in as they are, or whether you're going to gutter one out or leave one out, whatever. I'll make a decision later on, but for now, I'm just going to pull these hoses out of the way, and we'll pull both these thermostats out, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I just broke that clip. That's a problem. Let's get this hose out of the way. We've already drained the coolant, so there won't be much left in here, but I guarantee you there'll still be a fair bit of coolant in the block. That was that clamp I just broke. Interesting. Let's move the clamp up there. Push that up and out of the way. I'm going to move these two plugs while we're here, if they'll do what they're told. Let's try this one again. There we go, it's got a squeeze point just in there. I'll move those out of the way. Undo some bolts here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I did say 4 before, but there is a sneaky cheeky one in underneath here. Not a lot of room here, but I can just get a small ratchet in here, because this one not coming out nice. It's too easy with a ratchet, too hard with your fingers. Okay, that's the last bottom one, and then we should be able to pull that up and out. And first look at this thermostat here. That looks terrible around there, whatever that is. Looks like a gasket that may have had some silicone on it at one point, maybe. Or perhaps that's the rubber from the thermostat. Having a quick sneak peek at this, that looks awful. Let's see if we can pop that thermostat out. And look, that little piece just fell away. Either that's been really hot or there's been some other issues with that, because that should be a nice soft rubber seal. Actually, it's reasonably soft, it just looks disgusting. So that's thermostat number 1. We'll just sit that there. So now I'm going to undo these here. Now the reason I'm undoing these is there's probably still going to be some coolant in the block. There is a drain plug somewhere on these. I think it's down under here a bit further. But because we've had overheating issues, it's going to be smart to have a look at these thermostats and change them over and do whatever we're going to do. Okay, nice and tight. And we'll just get this bottom bolt out here. They look like just a simple 12mm bolt. And we'll see if we can pop that off. And looky looky. We have a second thermostat in here. We pull it out of the way. There goes that coolant. Again, it's not looking as bad as the other one, but it's still pretty manky. Gaskets certainly had a bit of a life, but definitely we'll get rid of it as well. Now just having a look at these, here's the interesting thing. Don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. 82 degrees for that one, 82 degrees Celsius, don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. 95 degrees. So the head runs hotter than the block. Don't know if that's a great idea or not. I'll do a bit of research. I'll figure out what people do, which thermostat they keep, which one they get rid of, and we'll report back. Let's now get that out of the way. Hey, look, we're starting to see a little bit of cylinder head here.